Hello, Mark.
Hello, Joey.
We're 58 today.
Episode 58.
58, yeah. I keep saying that. Yeah. Episode 58.
Yeah.
We got swag.
We got swag. We are calling it, we are tipping our caps to capital gains in this episode.
Yeah, we're getting into the description, how it all works, the changes that are coming. But we're diving into the weeds a little bit on this one.
Yeah, I hate doing these number episodes. I think they're important so people understand how capital gains works. It does get a little dicey at times when I'm trying to explain how what the inclusion rates are, but the show notes are a good place to check out what we're talking about in this episode. And if you have any questions about capital gains and how it's going to change in effect after June 25th, you can definitely reach out to us. We'll put you in touch with the right people.
Love it.
But we do talk about a lot of fun things today.
Yeah.
A lot of Sage content.
Lots of Sage event. Sage event went down.
Sage event went down.
Talked about some food.
Yeah.
We again got into a time machine.
Oh yeah, there's another time machine in this one. Yeah. Did we ever leave the time machine? Are we stuck in 2012?
Oh no, we're still in 2012.
Well, tune in to the end to see if we ever escape the early part of 2012. Enjoy the episode.
Enjoy.
Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savel.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Episode 58.
58. I feel like we're climbing quicker than ever. I don't know why. The numbers just seem to be moving.
Yeah. Are we going to take a spring break or a fall summer break?
We might.
Yeah. Sorry to deflate your air there. Yeah. We are growing quite quickly. Episode 58. Tipping our caps to capital gains.
I like that.
So I'm wearing a hat today.
You got swag today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This actually comes from a friend of ours.
Yes. Okay. Tell me this.
Last week, big race in Montreal, F1 race in Montreal.
Yep.
And Christopher Genova was out there. The real Christopher on Instagram.
The realtor,
Christopher.
The realtor, yeah.
The realtor Christopher. He is real. He's very real.
He's the real one.
Yeah. I shot him a DM. I'm like, can you grab me some swag? He's like, done. Whatever you want. I was like, I've always wanted one of the Pirelli. So the winners wear these hats. And he's like, no problem. And the consummate negotiator that he is, he waited till the last day, went back to the first guy and said, what's your lowest price? And he got me this fantastic hat at a great price.
I love that.
And look at this at the inside. Tricolori. No, right here.
Oh, yeah.
It's an Italian version
awesome.
of it.
Yeah.
So I've been rocking this. I'm really super proud to be wearing it.
Love that.
Today, Italy plays their first game against Albania.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're rocking it today for sure.
I'm all in it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, so where are you ending up today then?
Sicilian.
Yeah.
Sicilian on college. It's Taste of Little Italy this week. By the time you hear this podcast, I will already have consumed multiple Negronis, multiple Peronis, and whatever rhymes with all that. Linguini doesn't really rhyme with that.
Peroni I've never heard of until Thursday this week.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
Peroni.
Negroni.
Negroni I was fluent.
Wait, how'd you hear about Peronis?
So this week, if we're getting into how was your week, where did you eat?
We are. We're off to a slow start today, but let's get into it.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a recuperation day still.
It is, yes.
We are coming off of what this event was, which was a Sage event.
Yeah.
It was I'm calling it a spring fling.
Sure.
Yeah, I like that.
Spring fling rhymes.
It's a spring fling. It was, thank you to the Sagers for throwing that. It was at the top of it was the Park Hyatt. The rooftop bar, and then kind of like shared with the writer's room.
Yeah.
Man, that view is incredible.
Sensational.
Yeah. Negronis was my drink of choice.
But how did Peronis come into the mix?
Somebody said Peronis to me, and I was like, is that real? It sounds like you're just mispronouncing Negroni.
No, it's an Italian beer.
Yeah.
No? Oh, man. Last night, I tried the Limone Peroni. Well, it's called the Capri Peroni. Okay. It's got lemon in it. It's beer with lemon in it. A little hint of lemon at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a new summer drink.
It's like a Corona.
It's you would think that, but really it tastes nothing like that. It's a very small hint of lemon in it.
Okay.
Yeah. I said the same thing. I'm like, what's this, the Italian Corona? Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's very beery, but with a little twist of lemon at the end.
That name is very cultured.
Which one?
What did you call it? I can't even repeat. I can't even pretend to.
Oh, limone. It's got lemon in it. But it's not called.
It sounded so much more complex.
It should have been called Peroni Limoni. Peroni Limoni, but they didn't call it that. They called it Peroni Capri. I don't know.
Capri.
I don't know why they did that. because lemons are from Sorrento. And I don't know, man. It's weird.
Lemone. Yeah, I like that. But shout out to the Sagers. That was an awesome event.
Annual event. They had a good crew out there. So many friends we saw. Names that half the viewers won't know. Yep. We're going to shout them out anyways. Our favorite, the Fatas, were there.
Yeah.
Telling us they need to come on the show. We agree. Steve Jelinek
was there.
I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his last name. I said it. I'm like, Steve Jelinek, and he kind of looked at me like,
oh, you're saying that wrong?
I think so.
I've been saying Jelinek all. Yeah, okay.
But I probably put it in your head. So you're like, oh, that's how you say it. The Triplex King, he's doing some really cool projects. We definitely want to get him on talking about how to convert a single family home into multiple units.
Yep.
He's crushing it. He's got a really cool project actually just off of Little Italy.
Yeah, his page is worth a follow if you just want to keep up to date with what he's always got updates going on.
Yeah, so. We'll tag him. We'll tag all of them. He's a great guy, great resource, really hands on the ground. Boots on the ground, learning how to do it from the bottom up and teaching us, kind of the tricks of the trade and how to kind of really maximize your space. And it's looking fantastic.
Yeah, they do look great.
Yeah, what I like about Steve is like when a lot of people do these triplexes, they're really trying to push for the lowest materials. Steve is herringbone floors, high ceilings.
Done up properly.
He's just going to the nines. Patio in the back. It's going to look fantastic.
You know what? If it's a rental that is going to be meant to be a rental, like it is useful to have those more
quality.
Because it's going to sustain longer.
Yep.
So why do something that's going to wear out and all of a sudden you're
4 or 5 years you're ripping it out and redoing it? Yeah, no, Steve's got the right play there. We saw Wolf Street, Mariana and Freddie.
Yeah. Alex V.
Shout out Alex V. Most loyal or sage listener.
Yeah.
I'm going to anoint him that right here and now. And then the Sage boys were there. Larry, the OG. Evan, the middle G. And Brad, the littlest G. None of them live up to that name. They're all really good people. So shout out to the Sagers. Yeah. Anyone else there that you...
you covered a lot of the bases of who I spoke to.
Mark Rutledge. Shout out
Mark Rutledge was there.
Yeah. We had a good chat with him. We just did a deal. We closed on it last week. He was a great guy to work with.
Yeah, he was. We bumped into him at McDonald's at the end. Me and Alex V.
Nice. Yeah, I pulled the parachute early. It was like I had one espresso martini, and I'm like, I'm done.
That was.
I know my limit.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah. I went home. No McDonald's for me.
Or else you end up at McDonald's.
Which I wouldn't mind. Actually, on the way home, I was thinking of Ubering to McDonald's, but I was like, I'm going to regret this in the morning.
That's a good call.
I went home and I had an apple.
Oh, very, very good. That's like, I did not expect that.
Yeah, apples. I'm into apples now. It's my thing.
It's my thing.
Farm Boy. Do you shop at Farm Boy or ever peruse Farm Boy?
I love Farm Boy.
Oh, excellent. That's right. You bought the box, the Farm Boy carrying bag.
Yeah, the Farm Boy carrying bag. Yeah. Right. I used to go there regularly because their hot table was the best.
Yeah.
They have then the pandemic happened and it got a little bit odd just doing that type of thing.
Yeah.
But my God. And they have the cards. So you can swipe your card and slowly get cash back with their Farm Boy cards.
I didn't know that. No. I avoid all that stuff.
It's, you shop there anyways.
Yeah, I don't want to shop there. It's pricey. No, it's not. It's actually well priced, but you got to try these apples. Exclusively from Farm Boy. They're called Sugar Bee.
Sugar bees.
My mother-in-law put me onto it, but we call them sugar bees. Okay. I don't know why we say it in that accent, but sugar bees is what we call them, and they are fantastic. I actually saw friend of the show, former guest on the show, Josh.
Oh, nice.
Shopping there with his family. I tried to pitch him the sugar bees. He's like,
I'm good.
You should really try these sugar bees. They're fantastic. They are so fresh. And so I'm happy with my decision of having an apple after a night of drinking.
That's a good move. Wow.
Had zero impact on the next day. I still felt my age the next day, but sugar bees from Farm Boy.
Keep the hangovers away.
Yeah.
Sugar bees.
Someone's doing landscaping.
I was wondering where it was going from.
Someone decided to cut the grass during our podcast hour, so apologies. We're kind of veering off a bit, but I'll tell you where I ate this week.
Yes, let's hear it.
I took a page out of Pastiche. I went vegan. No, vegetarian. I'm vegetarian.
At Pastiche?
No, at Fresh on Queen.
Okay.
But because Pastiche was vegetarian,
got it. Yeah.
I did the same. That was
the
common denominator. Yeah. Me and the wife and the mother-in-law, we went out. Wednesday was a special night for us, so we went to Fresh on Queen West.
Nice.
Really good spot. It's been there forever, and surprisingly fantastic food.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're at a level where I can go no meat for a sustained amount of time and be okay with it.
That's you know what? At once in a blue moon, it feels okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to go meatless, but if I had to, I think I could. I had the Clubhouse sandwich there. I have no idea what was in it.
I was gonna say no meat in a Clubhouse sandwich.
Well, tempeh, bacon, crispy tofu steaks, tomato, carrot, red onions, alfalfa sprouts, pickles, garlic mayo, heritage blend lettuce, grilled whole wheat tortilla.
Fresh is good.
It's good.
Fresh is good. Yeah. Their burger is also very
massive.
Good. It's huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
Cali burger, I think they call it. I saw someone order. I was like, can't fit that in my mouth. Yeah. But the Clubhouse wrap.
That's my whenever or if ever I eat there. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
Clubhouse.
You've had it before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's one at Young and Eglinton. On Eglinton, like on the south side.
Okay.
Across from Good Life.
I'll trust you on this one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You? Where'd you eat? How was your week?
Oh, McDonald's?
Okay.
No. My week was no, I didn't have any special food spots.
Okay.
It was the stage party was my night out.
Was your special night out? Oh, they had some great canopies there.
Yeah.
Canapes.
Yeah.
Some
the finger food?
Yeah. Lobster rolls.
There was one that had bacon in it.
I don't think I had that.
It was amazing.
Oh, it was like something wrapped with a bacon. Maybe it was a scallop or something.
No, it was like it looked like a rice ball.
Arancini? Which is a rice ball?
Yeah.
With bacon in it?
It had bacon flavor. Yeah.
Okay.
I had the fish one,
Yep.
which didn't realize how hot that was. I just popped that bad boy directly in my mouth and it
Scalding.
burned the roof of my mouth pretty quickly.
Love it.
But it was solid food. I never had food there before, so that was those little finger foods were delicious.
Love it.
So I'll shout out. You know what? I'll shout out Writer's Room.
Yeah, great spot.
Yeah.
Truly is. Great service. The staff there is fantastic. Really, they took care of all of us. They accommodated us when we went. They accommodated us when we went for drinks next door.
Next door, yeah.
We're a big group of us. So yeah, great place, good spot.
Love it.
All right, let's get into some news we can use.
Oh, we're doing some news. News you can use.
Dude, shall I?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is breaking news.
Yeah,
Anderson Cooper, the Wolf Situation Room. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just me experiencing this, but ever since they dropped those rates, it got really, really quiet out there.
Yeah, there were some unexpected pauses.
Man, I was not expecting. I thought like the day after the rate hike, I got a ton of visits on my showings.
Yeah.
And then just
Funny how that works, eh?
it's psychology, right?
And that's my biggest thing about this is that I think the concept of the idea is that, the second rates start lowering, now people are thinking how low can they get?
Yes.
Why am I jumping now when it's just starting?
Yes.
And it's so crazy how much psychology does affect
Decision making.
Yeah. It's the housing market is you look at just like the base numbers of it. It's like I was talking about this at the Sage Party with Oliver.
Oliver, fellow countryman, my fellow Slovakian, Oliver.
But we were talking about it, and it was like if you see our market updates, we're always in a seller's market with the exception of condos for the most part. Yep. But psychology will slow things down to a grinding halt,
and that's what happened this week.
Yeah, it did.
I've got a listing on Livingston. We're priced very aggressively. There was 2 others up, so a total of 3 of us on the market. The lowest was $899. The highest was 1.2. None of us got a single offer come offer night.
Right.
Not a single offer.
It's insane.
And we had very good activity on the house.
Yes.
35 people through with realtors, about 25 with open house visits. Like, those are some pretty good numbers.
Fantastic numbers. And I will say, hosting those open houses, everybody was speaking positively.
Right. Beautiful remodeled home. So maybe I should plug it because we are back up. So we went from 1.1. We're now listed at 1.2 with offers anytime, but it's a completely remodeled home, 3 bathrooms, private drive, garage studio in the back that you can use for when family comes over, a little chill space, office. It's got all the utilities going back there, heat, hydro, AC, and not a single offer.
Yeah.
And it's several people I talked to at the Sage event were like, whoa, like what happened?
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you really think about it, you could close in 90 days, which will cover you if there's a second rate drop.
Right.
And just to be clear, the variable, these rate announcements only accept the variable rate. You could get which is currently at 6%, so maybe it goes down to 5.75. You could also get a fixed rate now at 4.75.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't get sometimes. But nevertheless, that's where we're at.
Yeah. Still beautiful house and now priced with offers anytime.
With offers anytime. Yeah. There's quite a bit of interest. There might be something coming in today even. But just really interesting how the kind of Psychology is, well, and the reverse happens because when rates went up, we actually saw a bump of people rushing in saying, before it gets any higher.
Right.
So
it plays a role. It plays a huge role. And I have this theory that like we're in the fastest communication because of social media and because of the fact that we can like
real time.
Yeah. So it's like hive mind, right? Like the second somebody starts speaking about, or puts a point out there that makes a little bit of sense, everybody follows really quickly.
Yeah.
Like there's no lag.
Yep.
So it's really interesting to see it all kind of unfold. I have so we're going to get into some stuff today, which we didn't really talk about, but we'll have an intro for that.
Yeah.
Before we get into that world of things, where we get deep into the weeds of what's coming, I wanted to just like put some lighthearted stuff out there.
Please.
I found a website, and I forget the name of the website, but it was like cool things that happened on this day in history. So I punched in today's date, and I wanted to just go through a couple things that happened on June 15th throughout the years.
Throughout the years. Oh, are we going back in the time machine?
We're going to, we are absolutely going to the time machine.
The Shark and Swan time machine. Let me dust it off. Okay, I'll open the door for us. Sorry, it was airtight, so I had to really...
Lots of dust for...
Don't want any contaminants going back to the 17th century. Yeah. All right, well, we're in it.
We're in it.
Should we shut the door?
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Whoop. All right.
Here we are.
All right. Where's our first stop, Joey?
First stop, we're going to go all the way back, and then we're going to slowly creep our way up. But first stop, we're going to go all the way to 1752.
Hello.
Benjamin Franklin proved that lightning is electricity with his famous key on the kite experiment. That happened on June 15th in 1752.
What a spark of inspiration that is.
What a day. What a day today. I'm feeling lighter already.
What a painful lesson to learn. Yeah. Flying a kite in a thunderstorm and watching it.
Just get hit.
He must have got zapped.
I'm assuming so. But the string carry the electricity. I mean, you have to get zapped in order to test it.
You have to get zapped.
Yeah.
Thank you, Benjamin, for all you've done.
Thank you, Benny F.
Sure. Benny F. I like how you don't want to dox him. Benjamin Franklin of 463 Washington Avenue.
Let's do another one.
I got to tell you, I hate this century. Taking back to the 20th century.
To the 1752.
No, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's move forward.
Right, let's move the dial up. All right. It is 1986.
You're not even born yet.
I'm not.
I'm one.
Yeah.
I'm crying like a baby. I want my mummy.
You're one at 1986.
Yeah, I was born in 85.
All right.
Make me one.
All right. Mark is 1 year old.
Me.
And Bono from U2 and Sting headline a concert in New Jersey celebrating 25 years of Amnesty International.
Rock on.
How do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
Were you a fan of Bono when you were
86?
one? Yeah.
You know, I was a fan of The Boss from before birth. My mom went to Exhibition Stadium and saw The Boss perform.
Okay.
But I mess with you too.
Yeah.
I'd say I was a fan. Yeah, I was a fan.
Yeah.
Sting, didn't really grow on me till the early 90s for Sting.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
When they really popped off.
Yeah. Then I became a Sting fan.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're back in. Well, actually, we're not back in.
We're just gonna jump a year.
We're just gonna pop a year ahead. 1987 is here, and Ontario passed a pay equity law to legislate equal pay for women.
Hallelujah.
June 15th. What a fantastic day.
1987. That wasn't that long in my lifetime.
No, it wasn't.
They decided that equal pay should be a thing.
Yeah.
What a world.
That's weird to think about when we're that close to it.
Yeah.
And then we're moving up. Now we're moving up.
So into the birth of Joey.
I'm alive now. I'm finally alive.
You're in this beautiful world.
Yeah.
And you get to watch.
I get to watch Nick Willonda be the first person to successfully tightrope walk over Niagara Falls.
Wow. Imagine all the people that didn't successfully.
Yeah. They was the first one to successfully make it through.
Nick, you made it, buddy.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
Yeah, we are. 2012 this was, by the way. Did I say the date? I don't know.
2012. Joey's alive. I'm alive. What was 2012 like? Was it a good year?
Yeah, it was
an okay year.
It was an all right year.
Were you in the band?
We were coming back from the recession that took place.
That's right. 2008 is over.
Yeah, we're 4 years, so everything's feeling all cool, calm, and collected again.
Yeah. Were you in high school still? Hard to say.
No, I don't.
I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when I graduated.
Yeah. I can't remember
It's all
like
a blur.
what I ate for breakfast this morning. So.
I'll tell you what I had. A sugar bee apple from Farm Boy. Well,
that's the good news I have.
I'm going to just rain on your parade. I'm going to shock you with some Benjamin Franklin lightning and bring some negativity in it. Those crazy liberals, they're at it again, messing with our hard-earned money. And this is what we're going to be talking about this episode. We're going to be talking about capital gains, because there's a lot of misconceptions around it. There's a lot of gray areas that I want to kind of demystify and talk a little bit further in. And this is because the liberals have decided to increase the inclusion rate of what you have to include in your capital gains. Currently, as of today, it's 50%. After June 25th, anything over 250,000 of capital gains will be taxed at 66.6. So we're going to call it 67% for efficiencies in this podcast.
2/3.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that it's also 66.6. Just make it 67 or leave it at 66. But this is the liberals, and I really am having a hard time understanding anything they're doing these days. So this is now a thing that we talked about in some previous episodes. It passed legislation, and like some of the quotes that they're dropping to justify it are insanely. Can I say stupid? Stupid a swear word?
Yeah, we'll put it out there.
It's so stupid. I had these. What were my quotes? I had some quotes in here that he dropped.
You did, yeah.
Did you delete my quotes?
No.
You put them away. I don't know where they are, but like, I just don't understand how this is going to help. They're using it under the guise of increasing the uber wealthy will help affordability for the middle class, and I completely disagree with that.
Yep.
I think this is just more taxation because we are $40 billion in debt.
Is that where we're at right now?
This year, our deficit is $40 billion.
Oh my God.
You think that's bad?
Yeah.
Do you want to know where we were at during COVID?
No, COVID would have been way worse.
Throw a number at me.
We're coming back from COVID. I don't know. Let's say, what are we
40 billion for the year.
40
is
billion.
our deficit.
I'll say, I don't know, 50? 60? 70?
Just start.
In the hundreds? Mm-hmm. Start in the hundreds? 110?
320 billion.
Oh my God.
That was our COVID deficit.
Oh.
Yeah. How's that for a head scratcher?
Yeah. Well, we're doing some good progress with all this taxing.
327.7 was our deficit in 2021. 2022 was 90 billion, and in 2024 we're estimated to be at 40 billion. So there is a crazy spending problem we got going on in this country.
Yeah.
And I really think this is just to help bring down that deficit. I do not see how any of this is going to help
Middle class.
anyone buy a home. What does...
No.
And I'm not going to get too deep into it, but when they talk about affordable housing, like just a friendly reminder, that is rental housing.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. So this capital gains is not going to help you own a house any quicker. It may somewhere down the line trickle to help build more affordable housing for people looking to rent, but it's not going to get you a detached house.
No, and
it's just not.
It's a funny thing because like we're talking about quotes.
Oh, you found them.
I did. I found that quote, but
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the number that they keep throwing out, which I think is like 0.016 or something weird.
This is going to affect 0.16% of the population.
What's everyone complaining about? It's
Yeah.
only going to affect this many people.
Bullshit.
No, man. Yeah, and it's like, and the concept behind it when they say that is like, it's only this much of the rich that's getting affected. It's
rich,
only the
yeah.
0.016% of
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's not the case. We've talked about this in the last time they talked about increasing it, and it's not. It hurts the people that have owned a house, a grandmother who's just passed away or something like that, and they've passed that house down to the kids.
Yeah.
It's not their primary residence. They get hit with that tax.
It's going to impact many of people.
Yeah.
It might not impact 1.16% of the people, but 99. No, it's not that high. But like, it's going to impact condo investors, cottage owners, inheritance properties. It's going to trickle down eventually to the kids or whoever inherits it.
Yep.
This is what the Prime Minister of Canada said. I understand. I don't know if I could do a Justin imitation. I understand for some people, this may cost more if they sell a cottage or secondary residence, but young people can't buy their primary residences yet. How's that? Is that pretty
good.
Justin?
It's it's a little bit. It's almost like Dave Ramsey-esque.
I could Doug Ford remix it.
All right, let's do it.
Folks, I understand
Immediate.
some people and your friends. Just draw out.
Doug Ford if he was Barney the dinosaur.
Is that Barney? Is that what he sounds like? Oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
Folks at home. Yeah, Doug Ford. Doug Ford, Rob, I don't know, man. Anyhow, the quotes are insane that they're talking about. Many of different organizations have spoken up because we're talking about it today in the real estate context, but this is also greatly going to affect corporations.
Yeah.
And who is mainly incorporated? Doctors, dentists, those of those nature, people in those fields. And this is now going to impact their retirement.
Yep.
Many of which who use real estate because they don't have a pension to kind of have that safety net when they retire, but also in their own corporation when it becomes time to
sell.
Yeah, because we'll get into what a capital gains is. They're now going to have to pay more. And we have some examples that will show you how much more. I don't know. I think this is all a tax on productivity, a tax on
right.
Those taking the risk to move this economy ahead.
That's the thing is when you start looking at things like, you could start it here, or if you get hit less if you start it somewhere else, like this is where opportunity, right? You're going to go to what gives you the best opportunity.
Yeah.
And
which country is going to provide you the most lucrative opportunities?
Yeah. And it's going to deter people from starting something up in Canada.
Canada.
They're going to move out and do somewhere that hits you a hell of a lot less.
I don't know about you, where you stand on this, and this is not a political, I guess actually this is a very political statement, but I don't think the Liberals are going to win the next election.
No.
I think they've gone stale.
Yeah.
The milk's gone bad.
No, it's I think, 100%. It's well overdue.
Yeah.
And I think, Justin Trudeau is easily one of the most hated people in Canada at the moment. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd be very shocked if
they pull it off.
And mind you, I think anybody that went through the series of time that he went through probably would have also been the most hated person on the planet.
Yeah. It's very hard to escape the last 8 years unscathed.
Yes.
Like there's been a lot of events. I think anyone in power, I agree with you.
He got hit.
Yeah.
He continues to make bad decisions.
It's the smugness of it all.
Yeah.
It's the smugness that, like, he was at
I
a
get
mayor's
that.
conference and he talked about it and the mayors booed him. And he just laughed in such a way where it was like, man,
Yeah.
you're lucky you got security up there, because somebody would have definitely got into fisticuffs with you if you were on the streets. Like it was, I don't know. His PR ain't that good these days.
No, it's not great. And isn't he on the board of, he's involved in that World Economic Forum? Isn't he known to be in
I would imagine he's the prime minister.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that I don't know much about it. Yeah.
I thought by default you're in.
You're in it?
Yeah,
Okay,
I thought.
I'm not in support of this like idea that it's the main quote that they have.
Oh, you will be happy. You will rent and be happy.
You own nothing
you
and
own
you will be
nothing.
happy. So there's reasons to get upset.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's reasons. And then when you're pulling moves like this, you want to think to yourself like, he is doing everything in his power to make it feel like we're going to be in a renter's world and we're going to own nothing. Like, I don't know.
In saying all that, I think that, like, yes, this is a little upsetting that they did agree to this and that it's passed and that it's a thing. But I think next year's an election year, and Pierre has said that if he gets elected, he's going to reverse a lot of these things. So I don't know if they're with us forever, if these changes are a forever thing, but nonetheless, they are here right now and it's worth talking about. So let's do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Start with some fun trivia. Capital gains. You want to know when it started in Canada?
When it started?
Yeah.
No, I don't know it.
So sometime between Benjamin Franklin and U2 and Amnesty International, the year was 1972.
Look at that.
You can get a Timbit for a quarter, and I don't even know if Tim Hortons was around, but 1972 is when Canada started with capital gains. It was meant to replace what was known as inheritance tax. So that's what predated capital gains, and it was meant to make it more fair for people so they weren't taxed so high when they were inheriting properties and stocks and bonds from people.
So the history I do know about it, and I don't know the specific numbers, but the history I do know is that we actually are lower than the highest we've ever been.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. In 1988, still not born, correct?
No, not born
This
yet.
was a Joey-less world in 1988, and capital gains were at 66.67%.
66 points. And that's like from the ground up, as opposed to an inclusion rate.
The inclusion rate was 68. So the inclusion rate currently is 50%. In 1988, it was 66.7.
66.7.
For the full amount.
Yeah,
Sorry,
for the
yeah,
full amount,
correct, yeah. And then 1990, still a Joey-less world?
One more year to go.
One more year to go, okay. 75%. Yeah.
75%.
75%.
Yeah, see, that's rough.
It wasn't until Y2K, the year 2000.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's when they brought it down to 50%.
Wow.
And it's remained that way for the last 24 years.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. You know what I could see? It's Y2K. They're like, the world's going to end. Let's just make these wild promises. You know what? We're going to bring capital gains down to 50%. Let's do it for the people.
Yeah, stock the sellers with as much stuff as stock all the underground sellers as much as you can.
January 1st rolls around, they're like, now we got to keep that promise. So nonetheless, for the last 24 years, we've been at a 50% inclusion rate. And I like that you added that word inclusion rate, because that's when you hear a 50% capital gains, I think people confuse it with a tax amount that they're paying.
Yeah.
Capital gains inclusion rate. And we're getting into the specifics of it, what that means. So capital gains occur basically when you sell a capital assets. It can be a stock, it could be a bond. In our context, we're going to be talking about real estate quite a bit. And it's when you basically make a gain from what you purchased it for to what you sold for. That amount you have to include, as of today, 50%. And then you get taxed at your marginal rate.
Right.
So for our purposes, because we're talking big assets, real estate, probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're going to assume that your marginal tax rate is the highest that they charge in Canada. I think it's like 50. I have a note here.
53 or something like that?
Yeah. No. Man, these notes. We got a lot of notes here, so bear with us. Yeah. 53.53% is the highest marginal tax rate for an individual. If you're in a corporation, it's a bit different, but we're going to be talking about individuals because that's going to affect the most amount of mom and pop landlords out there in this scenario. So how are they calculated? Basically, what you do is you subtract the original purchase price by any transaction costs from the selling price. You determine the taxable amount. So currently it's 50%, and then you include it as your income for the year.
Yes. So that on the year you sell, you have to add that as your
income for the year.
If you're making 100,000, you have to add now that on top of it.
Correct. Yeah. So if you're, let's say, I think the average pay is about 80,000 in Canada, and then you incur a capital gains because you sold a property of $1 million. Then for that year, technically your capital gains, your inclusion,
your income.
Yeah.
Basically.
If you made $1 million from that sale, it would be $1,080,000 is what you're going to be taxed at. But that's not your inclusion. I'm confusing this. I feel like.
No, totally cool though.
Yeah. So
breaking down the easy steps first of how it actually gets hit, how you get hit with it. It's not, you don't get taxed 50% of the capital gains. You get taken, that gets taken, 50% of that capital gains gets taken and put into your income.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you made $1 million, 500,000 gets included. I said $1,080,000. That's incorrect.
Yeah.
500,000 plus the 80,000 you made is what you're going to be taxed at for that year. That's currently June 15th, 2024. That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
June 25th, the first 250,000 that you earn in capital gains is going to remain at a 50% inclusion rate. Anything over that, we're going to say 67%, 2/3, 67% gets taxed on top of 50% of 250.
Yeah, this math got me. I had to do this calculation like 4 or 5 times before it actually clicked with me.
Okay.
Because I knew in concept what it did, right?
Yeah.
It's the first 250,000, you're going to take 50% of that and you're going to add it to your income for that year. Then there's another, whatever's on top of that, you're going to now calculate that number by 66% and then add those two numbers together.
I've got 3 examples that are going to make it like smooth as butter.
Let's do it.
So easy. Okay. So example number 1, you have a capital gain of exactly $250,000. The details of how you get there doesn't matter right now. Just you have a capital gain, $250,000. The taxable amount before June 25th is $125,000. Now, because it's right at that cusp of 250, after June 25th, it's the exact same amount. The taxable amount is $125,000, 50%. Simple math. Okay. So there is no change in the amount of taxes you're going to be paying, regardless if you close or sell your asset after June 25th. It's the same amount.
Yeah.
Let's look at example number 2. So you buy a house for $500,000, you sell it for $1 million. There's a capital gain of $500,000. The taxable amount before June 25th is $250,000. After, because it's over 250, is now $291,500.
Right.
That's how much you're including in your taxes for the year.
Yeah.
As a result, the individual with a $500,000 capital gain will pay $22,215 more in capital gains. You with me so far?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to hit you with the final example. And this is going to be the most probably common scenario that people who've had assets for 20, 30 years are going to feel and see the difference of.
Yeah.
So you bought that place for $500,000. You're selling it for $1.5 million. That's $1 million capital gain. Now you're going to have to include $250,000 at 50% and the rest at 67%. That's going to result in $334,000 inclusion rate. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be paying $66,000 more if you sell after June 25th than if you sell prior to June 25th.
Right.
It's quite a bit of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big hit because that's you're taking. So I think that the biggest push is from that, you would have spent, so you would have had to include in your own personal taxes that you had made an extra $267,000 prior to June 25th. And after, now you have to claim you've made $334,000.
Correct.
Which then you get taxed on top of that at the highest rate.
At your marginal rate of 53%.
At 53%.
Yeah. And can I just say, I hate these numbers and examples. I feel like it gets really confusing when we're talking about them.
Yeah.
We're actually, I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to put it in the show notes so you can really illustrate and see what that looks like. And, an accountant can obviously better
explain it.
But here's where the misconception, I think a lot of conversations I've had, this only applies to secondary properties.
Right.
Cottages, investment properties, etc. Your primary residence is exempt.
Yes.
It has been exempt. It continues to be exempt. There is no change to your primary residence. So if you have your one home and you sell it off, none of this applies to you.
Right.
This specifically applies to those with people with secondary properties.
Yeah. If it's not if it's not your primary residence.
Correct.
Anything secondary. I think if you're in a situation where let's say you have an elderly, your grandmother is potentially moving into a nursing home. You might want to think about doing this and setting this up before anything officially happens, because you might be avoiding a lot of headache and a lot of extra cost for the reason that if it does get passed down to any of the kids after the fact.
Yeah. The trigger is if there's a big life change, speak to an accountant, let them know your scenario. So many people have different situations that they're in, and there's other strategies that can work. Mm-hmm. But I think one thing to keep in mind is that if it's your primary residence, this does not apply to you at all. It's only for secondary properties.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a secondary property, there are ways you can minimize the amount of capital gains that gets included, and fees that the realtors charge, you can write that off. Capital improvements you've done over the years. So I have a rental property. If I buy a new fridge, that's not considered a capital repair. Mm-hmm. But if I do waterproofing, a new roof, large expenses that over the lifetime, I could deduct that from my capital gains when I decide to sell that property off.
Right.
So it's very important that you may not be selling for another 10, 15 years, but keep very good logs of all the work you've done and the costs that you've incurred in those, because you can use that to lower the amount of capital gains that you make on a property, therefore lowering your net taxes at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any questions?
No, makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a weird episode. It's not really our wheelhouse, and obviously we're not accountants either, but I think there's been a lot of conversation about capital gains and a lot of kind of questions that I've heard come up that I was like, no, that doesn't apply to you at all. Or yes, this is definitely going to apply to you. You should be sitting down. And I just got to say this, one strategy is not selling and closing before June 25th.
Right. Yeah.
That is not a strategy. I think it's too late to try to beat that timeline. We're 10 days out from it happening. I think it's just keeping a good record of the capital expenditures you've put into the property and using that. That's your biggest way to reduce that amount.
Yeah, totally. Now let me ask you about capital losses. So what happens if it goes the opposite direction?
Yeah. So capital losses is another good thing. Thank you for bringing that up, that you should be utilizing and recording, because you could also write that off against any capital gains you have.
Right.
For future use.
For future use,
yeah.
Right? You can deter that. So if you take a hit of $100,000, you can, and you're making it in the future, you can
reduce it.
Reduce it.
Yeah. And then something we always talk about is like, how do you come up with the savings to buy your first property? A lot of people use investments to grow their money quicker than how they can make in working. Mm-hmm. And you can be hit with a capital gains if you're not invested in a tax-free account. And Joey's, we'll link in the show notes, you've brought up a couple of really good products that people can use, such as a tax-free savings account.
Right.
So even if you don't have a house yet and you're saving up to get there, well, any profit you make will be subject to capital gains.
Right.
But if you're investing in these tax-free savings accounts, that's another good way to avoid capital gains
completely. Yeah.
So there are tools out there to help minimize it, and there are investment vehicles to help you get to your savings quicker and doing it in the most tax efficient way. Mm-hmm. And this is where a really good accountant, I've learned from experience, I've been burned quite a bit of paying taxes in ways where I should have been a little bit more strategic.
Right.
And now it's all about maximizing those accounts to the fullest, and corporations you can use as well. A little bit more advanced.
Complex,
I don't think everybody needs to be looking at that. But if you do have a corporation and the property is purchased in the corporation, yes, you could also defer your capital gains by deducting in years ahead and using capital losses a bit
basically and paying yourself out slowly as well through that.
Yeah, it's a strategy, but that doesn't really. I think for the majority of people who buy in their individual names, doesn't help you. Yeah. But I think that's a good point, that if you are thinking of getting into real estate investing, you should be talking to an accountant and saying, like, how do we do this in the most tax efficient way?
Yeah.
And then a point you brought up earlier is, when death comes to your doorstep, how do you set up the next generation to acquire those properties in the most tax efficient
without
way?
getting hit? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, no. I think it's an important one to tackle, because it is, for a lot of people who are hearing it for the first time, it is extremely confusing. And when people say 50% of your capital gains is going to get taxed, it's not exactly how that sounds. It is a little more complex. So I think it's an important episode to kind of describe how this actually plays out.
You're not giving up half of your capital gains, although I still am a big enemy of capital gains. I hate the fact that, we take all the risk for, let's say, a 30-year cycle of holding a house, and the government still gets the profit from it. But, I understand if you got to share the wealth a little bit, I'm okay to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But as I said prior in other episodes, I think it should be a marginal rate. I think if you hold a place for 30 years, you shouldn't be taxed at 50 or 67%. It should be maybe 10%.
Lowered as the years go.
The longer you hold it, because the amount that you're taxing the person on will increase as the market increases.
Right.
But who am I?
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So I think in conclusion, if you're finding a big life change coming up, book that meeting with your accountant and just get yourself in a position of, like, understanding how to best maneuver the situation.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to tip my cap to capital gains.
Love it.
And any exciting things for the weekend for you? You're doing an open house.
Open house. We're at 41 Walwyn.
Yep.
Huge lot.
Great starter home.
Yeah, great starter home. So see me there. Come today. I'm going there. Well, hold on a second. Yeah, I guess I can't really
reach out if you're looking for a family home.
That's better.
Joey will take you in.
We'll not be out in 10 minutes. So
Awesome. Well, enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you too.
And that's it for this one.
Love it.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.